Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin, Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. First of all, thank you very much. Salawat wa salam ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today we are going to talk about the Islamic etiquette and social interaction. How Islam teach us in context of communication, in context of interaction. There are some teaching in Islam based on the Quran. One of them is Nur verse 58 and up to 61. They were discussing about this ayat. Ladies and gentlemen, students of Southern University, whom I respect, understanding the proper etiquette in social instruction is very essential. It's a very important thing, because almost all our activities there are etiquette. There are many etiquettes, from the small one to the biggest one. Islam come to give us the guideline how to run, how to live together with the people, and at the same time how to build up the communication, how to build the good environments among us in a community. Jadi Islam agama yang sempurna, agama yang komprehensif, yang mengajarkan kita semua, termasuk tata cara kita bergaul, berinteraksi, berkomunikasi, bertetangga, bermasyarakat, itu ada dalam agama Islam. Let's discuss it. Some important thing that we are going to discuss in this opportunity. The first one, Islam teach us how to respect of people's privacy. Let's say when we want to come to somebody's home, Islam teach us we have to do some things. It's mean that you or we might not go directly to the people home without permission from the owners of the home. Jadi contoh sederhana saja dalam jalan Islam itu bagaimana kita datang ke rumah orang, tidak serta-merta kita datang masuk, tapi ada etikanya, ada tata caranya, ada aturan. Let's say, for example, in the Quran, the verse 58, instruct Muslim to seek permission 3 times before entering a home to respect the house privacy and dignity. When we visit a people's house, when you go to somebody's house, don't forget you have to ask permission that you or we are going to come to his or her house, and after we arrive to his or her house, don't forget to wait, and then now we have a phone, we call first to make sure that they or he or she are at home. We wait until he or she give us permission to come into his or her house. It is kinds of the ethics, a very simple ethic, but it's very important, and it is one part of the Islamic teaching. Ethical implication. This etiquette prevent intrusion and ensure house have adequate time to prepare to visit their blessing nature. Karena ini hal sederhana, tapi karena it is one of the way how to respect some people's privacy. In homes and communities, this practice foster environment of trust, mindfulness toward other personal space. Because by asking permission, it's mean that even they are my friend, they are our friend, she or she is our close friend, but she or she also has the privacy. Then we have to respect of his or her privacy when we visit or come to his or her house. It is the simple thing, small thing that Islam teach us how to respect of people privacy. For example, here is how if we go to somebody's house and we have to ask permission that we come to his or her house. Don't enter the house without giving permission from the owner of the house. It is the one of the etiquette in Islam that very important to understand and practice in our daily life. And the next one is the modesty in dress, covering aurat and preserving self-respect. Islam also teach us how to be modest of dress. I mean that we have to wear of a good dress, not only good but also the dress must be cover our full body. Because in Islam we are called as the aurat. Dalam Islam itu kan ada yang disebut dengan aurat. For women, there are some categories of women's bodies aurat that we have to protect our eyes from her. Because it is kinds of aura that even though we are friends, we are their friend, we are maybe family, but they don't need to show their full or maybe some part of their body to all people, only maybe for the certain people like her husband, for example, her dad, her mother, her father, let's say wearing the veil, hijab, wearing hijab. From Islam teaching, hijab is must. And when we see some bodies, women or girls without wearing a hijab, it means that we see her aura. And Islam is very intense to keep us, to protect us, not to see person or girl who is not our mahram, because it is kinds of haram. It is categorized as haram practices in Islam. Jadi kalau kita bertemu orang perempuan yang bukan mahram, kemudian kita lihat dia pakai kerudung misalnya atau pakai jilbab, itu bagian dari ajaran Islam yang dilarang. Itu adalah bagian dari aurat perempuan dan kita dilarang orang yang bukan mahramnya untuk melihat, terkecuali kalau orang itu adalah istri kita misalnya, atau misalnya perempuan kepada ibunya, kepada bapaknya, itu mungkin masih bisa. Tapi ketika dia masih unsur family sekalipun, tetapi masih ada hubungan yang agak jauh, maka tidak boleh, haram hukumnya ketika aurat perempuan dibahas. Dan dalam ajaran Islam, it is kinds of one way to respect of women, of girls, cara menghormati perempuan with cover of their body, the woman's body with good, of course, wears and sebagainya. Verse 99 call for maintaining stress of self purity and dignity. Itu dalam ayat 59 itu jelas bagaimana kita diajarkan untuk berpakaian yang sopan, yang baik. Tidak hanya ketika kita ke masjid. Lebih penting lagi ketika kita datang ke masjid. We go to the mosque, we have to wear a good dress. For Muslim or Muslim, of course. What is the purpose of the modesty? Modesty clothing protect one's honors and encourages respectful interaction within the society. Modesty strengthens the community moral by promoting respect and increasing immoral behavior. It's a very, very important thing to understand for this concept. Okay, and next we go to prohibition of privacy violation, upholding human dignity. In verse 60, explain this verse prohibit approaching other private space without consent, emphasizing ethical conduct. Significant, what is significant in Islam? Respecting these boundaries safeguard human dignity and nurtures harmonious relation. It is very important point. everyone understand how Islam comprehensively teach us uh, to build a good communication with people. That Islam also teach us in communicating with somebody, in communicating with the community, there are some rules, there are some regulations. For example, when we communicate with older people, don't speak loud. Make sure that when we ask something, if when we want to talk, when we want to speak something in front of the teachers, for example, you will have a question to your teacher, but you have to practice the ethic that you have to do before you raise, before you speak in the classroom, for example, when you want to ask a question to your teacher or the lecturer. Jangan yang jauh-jauh. Dalam hal kita bertanya sekali, kita kuliah misalnya, when the process of lecturing, you have a question in your mind. Anda punya banyak pertanyaan dalam memori Anda. And you want to ask the question to your lecturer. But don't forget, even you also student that you want to ask the question that but you have to practice up a good ethic. You have to promise first. You have to ask permission to, excuse me, sir. I have a question. May I have a question? May I raise a question? May I give you a question? If your teacher lecturer give the time for you to speak, okay, please you speak. And when you speak, please speak with good intonation, don't too loud or respect, showing your behavior in front of the teacher with, of course, a good manner. In other case, for example, if you meet with the oldest people, with the older than you, for example, you can also speak everything with him or with her. But don't forget, when you speak with somebody is older than you have to honestly. Ketika kita bicara sama orang yang lebih dewasa, lebih tua, juga ada caranya. Tidak serta-merta kita ngomong saya, tapi harus kita pelankan suara kita. Kita harus menghargai mereka sebagai orang yang lebih dewasa dari kita. Suara kita jangan terlalu tinggi. Cara kita juga tidak terkesan menggurui bahwa Anda menyampaikan sesuatu, tapi harus disampaikan dengan cara yang itulah ajaran-ajaran agama kita yang sangat komprehensif. This Islamic teaching is very comprehensive teaching that regulates all aspect of our life, yang mengatur semua aspek kehidupan kita, yang mengatur semua aktivitas kita di dunia ini. Bahkan in Islam, everything, every single activity that we do, there is a prayer. Setiap aktivitas yang kita lakukan dalam kehidupan sehari itu ada tata caranya. Let's say you go to the toilet, for example. There is regulation. There is also doa that you have to recite before you enter your leg to the toilet room, restroom, for example. And then which leg that you in first when you enter the toilet, sampai pada kaki mana yang akan masuk duluan ke toilet, kaki mana yang akan kita duluan ketika kita keluar, bacaan apa yang kita lakukan. There is the way. It is there is regulation. It's very very comprehensive of the Islamic. Ketika kita mau makan, when you wanna eat, juga ada tata caranya. When you eat, you have to pray first. Dan tata cara kita makan ketika ada makanan yang terlalu jauh dari tempat kita, ada tata caranya. It is not only talking about the culture, but the teaching of cultures in Indonesia is very relevant with the Islamic teaching. When you drink, for example, you have to drink with the right hand. Islam is prohibiting people to drink with right hand. With their left hand. You have to drink, take a glass and drink with the proper hand. It means here is the your already. Jadi dalam Islam cara minum pun ada aturan. Kita harus minum dengan tangan kanan. And then when you drink, you have to sit. Ketika Anda minum, Anda harus duduk. Islam is prohibited you to drink while standing. I think that's some small thing how Islamic teaching is very universal, and in all aspect of our life, in our sector of life, there are regulations, there are rules that have to obey, we have to follow. If you want to practice, you have to apply of Islamic teaching in our daily life. Tata cara kehidupan itu semuanya diatur dalam agama kita yang kita cintai, yaitu agama Islam. Oke, berikutnya ini contoh important of mutual respect and brotherhood. Pentingnya saling menghargai. Islam is very respectful people. I inform and explain before Islam come for spreading of the peaceful. Islam datang untuk menyebarkan kebaikan. So, as a Muslim, every time we meet with a new friend, with new people, we come to the certain community, we are recommended to say salam by saying Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. From the salam, from the greeting, Assalamualaikum, sesungguhnya we give a pray for people around us. Semoga keselamatan, hopefully the blessing, the safe always for you. Tidak hanya keselamatan, kita juga doakan supaya rahmatullah, rahmat, blessing, safe and blessed, rahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and keberkah, barakah, from those who are around you when saying salam or greeting. Dari situ saja kita diajarkan bahwa kita harus selalu menebarkan cinta damai, mendoakan orang atas hal-hal yang baik. It is kinds of Islam teaching. It's very important to understand not only now the concept but also how to practice that in our daily life. Bagaimana keseharian kita harus mempraktikkan tata cara yang diajarkan dalam Islam yang sangat luar biasa. What are the important of mutual respects and brotherhoods? First, unity. Islam called for unity among believers through mutual respect and kindness. Islam mendorong kita untuk membangun kerja, mengikat tali persamaan atau mengikat persatuan, menjaga persatuan dan kesatuan walaupun dengan orang-orang yang beda agama. Even there are different religion, different ethnic, different nation, but Islam teach us to build up mutual respect among them, among others. Not only with our Muslim people, with our Muslim brothers, but also for others believer. Because we are also united because of the nationality and humanity. Jadi ikatan kita bukan hanya ikatan terkait dengan akidah agama, tetapi kita juga diikat oleh kita satu agama, satu bangsa Indonesia. Paling umum adalah diikat oleh satu sesama manusia, humanity. Jadi diikat oleh kemanusiaan. Selama orang itu manusia, even as long as they are human, even though they are different skin color, different ethnic, different culture, we have to build and keep up the mutual respect. Ya, tidak boleh kita saling menjelekkan, tidak boleh kita saling hina dengan keterbatasan orang lain. Tidak boleh kita menganggap diri kita yang paling sementara yang lain kurang. Misalnya karena kulitnya bagus, karena badannya bagus, karena cantik atau ganteng, kemudian dia bisa seenaknya ngata-ngatain orang yang mungkin tidak seperti dia. Padahal we are created by Allah SWT. We are creatures of Allah SWT. As the creature of Allah, of course, whatever is the form of the human, apapun dan bagaimanapun bentuk seseorang, itu semua ciptaan Tuhan. Dan tidak boleh bagi kita untuk mencemooh, menjelekkan ciptaan Tuhan. Gampang begitu Allah, gampang bagi Tuhan kalau misalnya Allah ingin apa yang kita nikmati hari ini dengan mungkin kesempurnaan badan untuk mengambilnya, kemudian kita akan menjadi orang yang eh, kekurangan misalnya dalam hal part of the body. Kita harus mensyukuri, harusnya we have to thankful, bersyukur terhadap apa yang Allah berikan with the perfectness of our part of the body. We are complete body, we are part of the body is complete. We can see everything light, right? We can, our hands function is good, our hearing function is good, and we can speak very good. And yeah, everything is kinds of the nikmat Allah. Semua itu kan bagian dari nikmat Tuhan, nikmat Allah yang harus kita syukuri. How to thankful to God? Bagaimana kita bentuk kesyukuran kita kepada Allah? Tata cara kita bersyukur pada Allah yang paling utama adalah we have to keep whatever that Allah has already given to us. Apapun yang Allah telah ciptakan, berikan kepada kita harus syukuri. Badan kita yang sempurna dengan tentu doing everything that Allah recommend to do, and of course far away from everything that Allah prohibited for us to do. Dan tentu salah satunya adalah kita harus bersyukur kepada Tuhan, mensyukuri apa yang Allah telah berikan, baik itu berupa rizki, materi, maupun berupa ciptaan yang sempurna kepada kita. Karena banyak orang yang pengen mungkin ingin mendapatkan kesempurnaan badan, ketetaan tubuh, anggota tubuh sama dengan kita, tapi some other sometimes have a different. Orang yang katakanlah lahir di Papua misalnya atau di Afrika, mereka diciptakan Allah dalam bentuk kulit yang berbeda dengan kita. Ya, kalau misalnya kita hidup di Indonesia, we are live in Indonesia, or somebody live in Eastern, in Syria, in other, we have to thankful. Our skin is not too dark, our skin is good enough. Tanpa atau tidak boleh kita menjelekkan, kamu hitam, dia kulitnya jelek. No. Karena itu adalah semua ciptaan Tuhan. They are also created by Allah. They are creatures of Allah SWT. Berarti when you say something bad to the people with the creature of Allah, itu artinya sama aja dengan kita menghinakan apa ciptaan Tuhan. Kita menghinakan apa yang telah Tuhan ciptakan kepadamu. Pasti everyone have a more and less. Punya kelebihan dan kekurangan. Nobody perfect in the world. Apapun yang Allah anugerahkan kepada kita, whatever that Allah give for us, we have to thankful to God. La in syakartum la azidanakum wa la in kafartum la azab. We have to protect our brotherhood, maintaining bonds based on the trust and appreciation, strengthen the ummah. And of course, the tolerance, showing the patience and understanding, foster peaceful and coexistence. And this is also is very important. Visit, ethics of visiting, eating and friends and relative house. Dalam ajaran Islam juga bagaimana kalau etika kita berkunjung misalnya, makan di rumah teman, kita harus makan tidak boleh terlalu makan too much. If you come to friend's house, if they ask you to eat together, make sure that you have to eat honest. I mean that you have to eat don't too much, and then you show your ambition, your to eat a lot, so it will be good for in the perspective of the host of the house. Permissibility of eating at other house. It is permissible to eat food and relative friend and acquaintance according to Hanafi and Hanbali's food. First comfort is key. The visitor should not burden the house. Once again, the visitor, you visit up somebody's house, the visitor of you, I, or everyone who visit of somebody's house should not burden the house. Meal and should be accepted with appreciation and moderation. And the last point that I want to share today is living with ethical social boundaries. How we live with the ethical social boundaries. Like, firstly, you have to always ask permission. The second one, observe for modesty. The third one, be considerate a guest. And number four is maintaining respectful communication. Always ask permission means that respect other privacy by seeking consent before visit or entering. Number two, observe modesty. Dress modesty to maintain respect in all societal social setting. Number three, avoid the overstaying or imposing on house during the visits. Number four, maintain respectful communication. This means that you have to polite language and show gratitude to strengthen up your relationship itself. Yeah, it is some important point that I want to share today in this video. Hopefully you understand the point that I'm talking, and hopefully we categorize as the good person. We can practice in our daily life everything that Allah already teach us through the Quran, Hadith, and another sources. Thank you very much for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you in the next video. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye.